Hey guys, it's Rachel from the Little Ring Lamb, and today is another Top 5 Wednesday day. The Top 5 Wednesday page will be linked in the down bar, so I urge you to go check it out and check out other people's videos. Today's topic is Top 5 Books Before You Joined Booktube, or if you're a blogger or an bookstagrammer, that's the correct term, whichever one. So basically these are books that I read and loved before I joined Booktube. I joined Booktube 5 years ago, and I read a lot of books before that, but I started more so getting into collecting books when I was 14-ish, but in the last few years my book collection has definitely grown. So a lot of the books I loved, I actually do not possess. And I did not pick childhood books. I picked more teen YA books that I loved before. There's a lot of childhood books I love, but a lot of them I do not own. So yeah, I mostly stuck with teen books, but obviously there is lots of those ones I did enjoy, and even like Princess Diaries and stuff like that, but I've talked about those not exhausted them on my channel, but I've talked about those a lot. Some of these books in this list are ones I've talked about a lot, but I'm going to glaze over them if I have. So anyway, not to bore you with any more details, we're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is actually The Lukes by Anna Godberson. This is actually the 4th book in the series. It's in a stack. But basically this series I started reading, so I started my Booktube channel when I was in the summer before I started grade 12. So I was reading this when I was in grade 7. And I really enjoyed this series. I didn't finish it all in grade 7, but I read the first 3 books because this one wasn't out yet. And it's just a series that doesn't get talked about a lot. It's pretty much described as Gossip Girl, but in the early 1900s. Oh no, late 1800s, I believe it is. Yeah, of course not saying like what time period it's in, but it's one of those, yeah, doesn't, oh, 1900. So it's like late 1800s, early 1900s. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's a really good series, pretty easy to read, and I really like the series. I really need to reread it soon. The 4th book I picked was You Against Me by Jenny Downham. I believe I read this when I was in grade 10, and I really enjoyed this. I read both of Jenny Downham's books that year. She only had 2 out at the time. I think she has the 3rd one out now, and it has like a blue cover of people's faces that I've heard about. But this one is basically about a court case where there's a girl saying that this guy raped her, and then the brother and sister of the respective people start to kind of form a connection, and it's kind of really dark because it's like, if they form a connection with this person, is it like, it's like a lot of questions about like whether they should be doing this because of family and family loyalty and all that. It's a very dark book, but it was very interesting, and I really want to reread this one soon and see how my perception has changed, because obviously I was younger, and I really, like, because I've been reading YA since I was at least 10 years old. So when I turned, so I was 15 in grade 10, I think. Was I? Yes. I was 15 in grade 10. And basically I kind of just wanted to read something darker. Like, I kind of was going towards that. Like, I was reading also at that time period in my life, or more so grade 11, was like the Millennium Trilogy by Stag Larson. Like, I was trying to read more grown-up books, and this one was definitely had a more grown-up topic, which I did enjoy. Number 3 is Storytelling by Tori Spelling. Now, no matter what you say about Tori Spelling, she gets a lot of like flack and stuff like that, but I actually really like her acting. I just really like her as a celebrity. She's definitely one of the celebrities I follow, and yeah, I just really like almost like everything that she comes out with. So yeah. I know it's not a really popular opinion, but it's true. And I actually picked this up in grade 7, and the funny thing was, I picked this up, read it, and really enjoyed it. I really love her memoirs. I really like her writing. It's just really good. Like, I read all her memoirs, and I really hope she releases another one because I do enjoy the writing. And the stories, obviously. She's really good at storytelling. Hence the name of the book. But yeah, I just really enjoyed reading those. And basically the funny thing about this book, though, was I picked it up in grade 7 because I saw the cover and I saw the back and it looked interesting. I was really into memoirs at the time, and I was reading a whole heck of them. And then a few months later I picked up Beverly Hills 90210, and I didn't realize until I finished the first season that she was in Beverly Hills 90210. And then I've been read this. I've reread some of her memoirs like 3 or 4 times, because whenever a new one would come out I'd reread them. Because at the time, of course, I did not have a big book collection either. So I didn't have like a giant TBR to contend with. Number 2 is The Castaways by Ellen Hildebrand. I picked this one up when I think it was the summer in between grade 8 and 9. And I really enjoyed this book. Before I went into grade 8, the summer before, I lost somebody very close to me, so, and it still stings, so I don't want to really get into it because I'm going to start crying. And this book deals with like grief and stuff like that, so I found it very helpful, and it's one of the books that I love Ellen Hildebrand's book, but it's one of the ones I go back to just for like grief and stuff like that because I have a really hard time dealing, like a lot of people, and I don't cope properly probably, I torture myself with it. So yeah, not fun, but I really enjoy that book just for that sake. Like, it's very sentimental to me. And I feel like Ellen Hildebrand doesn't get talked a lot on Booktube, probably because of the demographics, and she's not a YA author, so I feel like she deserves some more attention because her books are really good, and they're really good summary reads. When people talk about summer reads, like, people need to start talking about her books because she releases one every summer, and they're great. Some of them are really dark, but they still have, like, happy moments and stuff like that. And number one, of course, is the Pretty Little Liars series by Sarah Shepard. Now, I have like whole videos talking about when I picked these books up. So basically, I'll just say I picked these books up in grade 7. I was going to the bookstore to get one of the books in the private series by Katie Finn, I believe. No, Kate Bryan. That's her name. And it wasn't there, and I picked up Flawless by Sarah Shepard, the second book in the series, and I got hooked, and I've been hooked ever since. And those books just always have a sentimental kind of nostalgia for me, and definitely will be my top 5 books before Booktube because it didn't invigorate a spark in me to read because that spark's been there since before I could read, and probably my whole life. I was always a book kid. So basically, yeah, it didn't invigorate anything in me, but it made me just, I don't know, I just have really good feelings about that. It just brings me back. And yeah, that's been my top 5 Wednesday list. A lot of these books had differing emotions. I really wish I could reread all these books, and I'm going to try to make it a priority hopefully soon to do a bit more rereading. I've not been as diligent in that, so need to get on that. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.